Hi everyone. I don't know why I'm doing this dance, but welcome to another episode here on the Bi-Conics YouTube channel. This time, me and my lovely host Andrew, our 2/3 of the Table for Two review, is here to review this week's Impact Wrestling, which was a hidden gem show. Basically, these are all the matches that we didn't get to see on television, which I looked at some of these, and after watching some of these, I was like, why not? Especially our main event. That I was like, the main event made me more upset. I was just like, what television? Like, anyways, unfortunately, we are down a member of our trifecta. Poor Will. I mean, technically, he didn't tell me I couldn't share this, but Will is kind of dealing with some things right now. And me and Andrew wish him nothing but the best and a speedy recovery because hernias are not fun. Anyways, so Will, hopefully you feel better. And me and Andrew are going to hold down the fort until you get back because we miss you and it's not the same without you. But we're going to do our best to try to get through this as best as we can because outside of the opening segment that we had from our commentators setting up what type of show we were going to deal with, we literally just had nothing but wrestling. So I was just like, all right then. I was like, I guess. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how you felt, Andrew. I was like, these are the type of shows we're getting the rest of the year, aren't we? Which I'm okay with, if I'm being honest. Now, what's going to be important is come January, the first Thursday January show that we have. I was like, all right, kids, we got to start doing something. Give me something here because we're about to enter Hard to Kill, so no.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get a lot of this, especially because this is kind of what we've been getting from Impact since really Bound for Glory. We've had some new stuff, but it's been intermixed, and they filmed in blocks, and we had things that were kind of left off and we got back later. So I kind of get it with where they're at, but like you said, at some point, we need some build-up to Hard to Kill. I know we've gotten a bit of it already for the things we've seen, but I'd like to see more for the rest of the card, especially because this is going to be the beginning of the return of TNA. Let's do some build-up. Let's get away from what we've done with Impact for the last, three, big events, where it's just been no real build-up. They've been great cards, don't get me wrong. They've been phenomenal cards, some of the best cards of the year, but I'd like there to be some long-term storytelling here, and I think Impact can do that with a lot of the people they have, so I'd like to see them actually build the Hard to Kill.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll talk about Hard to Kill a little bit halfway through this because we got some pretty exciting news. And at the time of this recording, we got an announcement that we have a third match added for Hard to Kill, which is what I've been asking for Impact to start doing, TNA to start doing as we get closer to it. But let's not waste any time. Like I said, Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywald kind of are up at the entrance ramp at the beginning of this to tell us that we're going to do a Hidden Gems episode. And then we just jumped into our first match. So we're taking it all the way back to Chicago, following the Bound for Glory. So this is at the tapings, where our first match is Alan Angels versus Samurai del Sol. Of course, you got to do the high-flying X Division stuff for your first match in this. I really, really enjoyed this. And this was another match I was like, why was this not on TV? Listen, the mistreatment of Alan Angels. I'm like, give me more Alan Angels, you guys. Like, this is all I've been wanting. And same thing with Samurai del Sol. I was like, I enjoyed this match, but this also made me mad. I was just like, give me more of these guys.
That was kind of the running theme for me for this card. It was reminders of things that I missed that I want to see more of. We got so many matches that there were people that I was like, oh yeah, where's this person been? How come we haven't seen them? And, this is some of those areas where we could see more of them is with the storytelling, because both Angels and Samurai del Sol are great members of the X Division, and they could, we've already seen Alan Angels face Chris Sabin. I think his cash-in was too soon. I think we should see him again, but we could see some really big things from them, and you could build a really exciting division like, they used to have. They've got all the performers to do it. They just don't have a lot of the story built around them. This match itself was fun. I think Alan Angels could be a really good heel in the X division. I think he's got some of that really good skill to be really unlikable, but at the same time be really enjoyable to watch in the ring. I thought it was funny that through part of the way, people started chanting Kalisto during the match, which was pretty funny. But I like to see him here, see Samurai Del Sol here doing really well. The way that he finished with that super Selena Del Sol was pretty awesome. Yeah, I again want to see more of these guys. They bring a lot of action. I think there's a lot of other competitors. Seeing them against people like Trey Miguel, Mike Bailey, but we can mix up the competitors, not seeing a lot of the same people every time. So it's a good match, good opener.
Absolutely, I loved it so much. And again, running theme that I'm going to be saying a lot. Why did not we see this on television? But I agree with you. The SDS, as we're going to shorten it, off the top rope for pinfall was amazing to watch. I want more Alan Angels. Hopefully TNA will use him. I feel like I'm going to be saying that with a lot of people we'll be seeing tonight because I just want them to be used more. Yeah. And I think they're waiting for the TNA rebrand to bring all these folks into the spotlight. Again, you have the people who are currently on roster. You have a lot of the newer stars. I mean, we just talked about it. Like, they signed Trent Seven. You have Kushida signing. And I'm even going to throw Miss Sunny Kiss in this as a signing, too. Like, you have so much talent coming in, and who knows who else they're going to grab. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, could you imagine if they pulled the fast one and they actually got Okada to...
That would be insane.
Listen, hell will freeze over if Okada ever signed with TNA, and I actually think I'll be like, guess what, boys? Looks like TNA is where it's at now. I'm just saying. But man, I'm excited. This is going to be fun. This was a really, really fun match. I really, really enjoyed it. And again, we're not wasting any time. No promos, no nothing. This is just mostly wrestling matches tonight because then we get into our first tag team match of the evening. We're taking it all the way back to Atlanta, Georgia in the midst of the summer, where we get what I've been asking for the last couple of weeks, as me and Andrew and Will have been talking about this. This match sees the Shantaraj of Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans taking on MK Ultra. My girls are finally back. I hate that this is how we got them back on television, but I am going to take it. I am not going to complain. And this was another fun match. Really, it was. I mean, we're probably going to talk about it anyways, but the modified double pile driver for the win was just like, woo, let's go. Ooh, that was like, this is why I need MK Ultra on my screen.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a pile driver, a power bomb, a brain buster. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I love that we got this knockouts tag match. We got MK Ultra back, but the match was so old that they weren't even MK Ultra yet at this point. But watching them together, like especially even just this early on, we haven't seen them in so long. We haven't seen them live in I don't even know how long, because the last match we got to see them in was a taping that should have been on the pay-per-view but wasn't. Their chemistry together is that's how tag teams work and they function. You look at the great tag teams like that we have right now, teams like FTR and teams like that the way they work together, they're just able to communicate with each other. They're on point, whether it's in the ring, whether it's interacting with each other, character work, all that kind of stuff. These two, it's so perfect. They're the tag team that they should be. And the biggest bummer for me was watching this and wanting more, even from the Shantaraj. Like, they work well as the tag team that they are. They work a lot together, and this was a while ago. I think they've gotten even better since that. So there's a lot of really good options for tag teams, or opportunities for tag teams, I should say. But if they're not going to build up the Knockouts tag team division, then they need to unify that with the tag team title, get rid of the gender for the tag team division, and let MK Ultra go out there and wrestle whatever other tag teams there are. Because if it was just a single tag team division, I still think MK Ultra would be at the top. They'd be one of the top 3 tag teams competing for that title. They need to be on there more. I like watching this made me miss them, like made me bummed out that we haven't had them on TV. But the match itself was awesome. This was one of my favorite matches of the night, and the way they worked together is so good.
It was. And honestly, this and what we got for our main event, like even at the moment of us talking about it, I still don't know what I'm going to pick as my favorite match of the night because both of them ended up being so good. I loved it so much. But again, I miss MK Ultra. And like you said, this was even before they were MK Ultra, but I want them back. And if we're not going to do anything with the Knockouts division, I agree. Let's make mixed gender tag team championships. Like, I am so here for this. It is awesome. This was a really, really fun match. So from here, we take it all the way up to Columbus, Toronto, Canada, wherever you want to listen. There are way too many prefectures in Canada to name it all correctly. But we're in Canada for this one, where we take it all the way back to Columbus in the month of June, where we see again, why was this not on television? Literally, you had my three favorite words. PCO, street fight. Like, that's all I need to know. So this was a street fight which saw PCO taking on Diener. I have to be completely honest. Watching all these matches, like, oh yeah, so this is where we were with storylines at this point of the year. Because then everything that happened after this match, I'm like, I forgot. It's so weird Sami Callihan in Impact anymore after his contract ended. But again, street fight, PCO, Diener, I immediately knew what I was going to get into, and this is exactly what I wanted. We had tables, we had steel chairs, PCO's doing PCO ridiculous stuff. I was like, how are you still alive at this point?
Yeah.
I forgot that Angels and Khan were part of this faction at this point of this year. I was like, I have forgot. So much has happened in Impact Wrestling this year. I can't even. And then, of course, like I said, OVE running down at the end of this. Almost like my mind is blown, you guys.
I would not have, I would have not guessed that OVE was in Impact in 2023. I would have been like, no, that was more than a year ago, right? Like, that's just how far some of that stuff seems separated from stuff that's going on now. But this match, yeah, PCO is insane. Like, between the spots that he hits, like that senton onto the apron is so brutal. But then the spots that he doesn't hit, as soon as he set that table up, I was like, he's going through his own table by himself. You know, there was that. There was the spot off the top turnbuckle onto the backs of the chairs. Like, insane. And this is I don't know how he's still able to give these types of matches after finding the PCO persona and wrestling the types of matches that he's wrestled up to now, how he's still functioning. But he's up there with some of these older competitors who are still out there wrestling, and comparatively they're wrestling smarter. He's still doing this crazy stuff, and he's going. I give this match a pretty high ranking just because of what they went through. And every time I see him in Impact PCO, I'm like, nope. I thought before when I saw him coming out, I was like, oh, what's PCO doing wrestling it again? And then by the end of the match, I'm like, nope, this guy's amazing. It's so good. It's so good.
Again, it made perfect sense that they re-signed PCO. I was just like, yes, give me more. I love it so much. I love this like crazy. Angels Con, all of OVE. Madman Fulton choke slamming Khan was a beautiful thing to watch. I love it. I love when big men get slammed through things. It is hilarious. Take that what you will. But the PCO going up to the top rope and doing the PCO salt for the win was beautiful to watch. Right choice. Again, this should have been on television. How dare you deprive me of this all this time? So we take a break from all of the in-ring action from the Hidden Gems show because we get two things. First, we're going to talk about the big thing. We are told that not only at TNA Snake Eyes, the taping after the pay-per-view, but also appearing at TNA Hard to Kill is going to be El Hijo del Vikingo, which those of you who do not know, he is the AAA champion down in Mexico, and he is coming to TNA. So that in itself was just like, oh my gosh, I got excited. Then we were treated this morning via Impact Wrestling social media that breaking news just hit that at Hard to Kill, it is going to be a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Chris Sabin will be defending the title against Kushida and El Hijo del Vikingo. And I was just like, sold, best pay-per-view of the year, and it's only January. Like,
it's got 3 matches.
It's got 3 matches, and it's already being built to be like one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year already. Andrew, I can't contain my excitement. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, game over, you guys, game over. Like, I'm gonna take a week. Like, I'm gonna take the whole weekend off. Like, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm excited, but I'm not ready.
I love to see that Kushida is back, that they're going to bring him. And, so him being there is going to be incredible. I'm so excited. This match already, just as is, could easily be match of the night, potentially match of the year. So I'm pumped. This is the way to start TNA, the new legacy of TNA championships. We've got 3 great matches for that we're going to have the next reigning TNA champions coming out already. I can't wait to see what the other title matches are going to be for Hard to Kill, because every time they've announced something for Hard to Kill, and even Snake Eyes, it's just taken it one step up. And so, yeah, I'm so excited.
TNA is out here making moves and is going nuts. Like, Scott D'Amore like, oh, you wanted a twist, hey? Yeah. Sign Trent Seven, sign Kushida. El Hijo is going to be up. Vikingo is going to be up both the Hard to Kill and the taping after that. Okada is going to be teaming with the Motor City Machine Gun. Josh and Will Ospreay are facing off once again. I was like, man, let's get all these people in before they decide to sign elsewhere. Like, oh my gosh, so good. And finally, I've always been repping Impact for the last 2 years that I started watching this, and I always got made fun of because they would say Impact is nothing but a little indie promotion. What now? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No,
I'm excited.
They found their spot, and it feels like they're doing it how they should. Like, I think it helps because the previous incarnations of TNA and Impact at the time were trying to be that second promotion. Like, there were so many years of everyone trying to compete for the top spot, being that second promotion. We'd have another WCW. Like, that's where everyone was like trying to find that next Monday Night Wars kind of thing. But I think there's so many promotions and so many ways to watch wrestling that, AEW is obviously feuding into that number 1 spot. But everybody else, along with the ability to work well together and actually cross those lines, has enabled other companies to flourish in the spots that they should. And I feel like that's what TNA is figuring out. They're like, okay, yeah, we don't have to try and be the best or the biggest game out there. We just have to do the best that we can do. And they're doing that. And they're doing amazing things. Like, so many of their matches and performers were my top picks for the year. And the rebirth of TNA is hands down my biggest thing I'm looking forward to in wrestling next year. So if they handle this right, TNA is going to do some amazing things in 2024.
Yeah, I am so excited. I can't wait to see that. I'm so happy. Again, Vikingo is out here basically wrestling everywhere and anywhere with 3-letter companies, so you are absolutely right. And speaking of Hard to Kill and Snake Eyes, we then get this quick little video package that we saw before with Josh Alexander, which basically is hyping up his rematch against Will Ospreay at Snake Eyes. Listen, the first match was just, absolutely. I'm so excited for Snake Eyes. It's gonna be really great. Okay, well, we gotta talk about this next one. So we're taking it all the way to Toronto in August. This is a tag team match. I'm gonna be honest, the only one that walked away from this okay in my eyes was Channing Decker. That was about it. Everyone else though, ooh. So we get this tag team match from Toronto that happened back in August. Dirty Dango and Alpha Bravo taking on Tommy Dreamer and Channing Decker. This was rough to watch.
Yeah, I did think it was interesting that for us, we got to see Channing Decker wrestle twice in 1 week. Right. Mind you, they were months apart from each other. But yeah, I've been pretty upfront about my feelings about Tommy Dreamer. This was even a while ago, and I still feel like that there were some issues there. I think Dirty Dango needs a new gimmick. I didn't enjoy it when I was watching an old match of him, and it hasn't progressed really to what I've seen of him recently. Even with, I'm blanking on his name, that he has an Impact, but his new Muscle. Yeah, I hope in TNA they just repackage all of those 3 of those, do something else with them.
So.
I did think it was funny that the Canadian in Decker did the traditional, we're in Canada, I'm going to put on a sharpshooter on someone and everyone's going to pop for it because, Bret Hart. But he put it on wrong. He crossed it over and he held the wrong leg, and then he had to just kind of hold it while he was sitting there with it. And I was like, come on, dude. And I get it. It's like nerves and you're trying to function, get things going on. But I was just like,
but come on.
You're the Canadian trying to do this in Canada and you put it on wrong. But yeah, it was what it was. I'm not a huge fan of, I didn't know Channing Decker, so I can't say I'm, much about him, but not a big fan of the Alpha Bravo Dirty Dango situation. I don't get much at either of them. I'm not really enjoying the stint of Tommy Dreamer, but yeah, this was probably my least enjoyed match of the night, and it's sad to say because this is a Hidden Gems match or Hidden Gems card where we're getting to see matches that got left off of other things, and there's so many weeks when I'm like, we could have done without that match. That should have stayed hidden. Like, we didn't need to see this match. Like,
it needed to be buried.
Yeah.
Like buried, burned, melted with dip from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, that level of purge it from my memory. Yeah, it was a match for anyone that cares. Tommy Dreamer, Channing Decker won. Moving on. So we get a small vignette that basically also we're hyping up Hard to Kill. We get a vignette for Okada's return to TNA ring. As I mentioned earlier, at Snake Eyes, it will be Okada and the Motor City Machine Guns taking on the team of Moose, Ryan Myers, and Eddie Edwards. God, those men are going to kill each other. It's going to be beautiful to watch. And it's funny, Okada's out here doing the Lord's work because it's only a week apart between Hard to Kill and Wrestle Kingdom. So he gets to team up with the Motor City Machine Guns, and then a week before that, he will be getting the piss beat out of him, and he'll be beating the piss out of Danielson in their match at Wrestle Kingdom. Lord have mercy. It's about to go down. This is great. So in our semi-main event, we're taking it all the way back to, once again, Atlanta, Georgia, back in June, where this is a Knockouts Championship match, where we see Taylor Wilde, of all people. Man, I miss Taylor on my television screen. Like, OG repping Knockouts division, taking on the champion at this time, because this was before Slammiversary, Deonna Purrazzo. I was just like, damn. This was less than 6 months ago, and things have flown by in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's still crazy it's crazy to me that I get it, just the way editing and taping and all that stuff has to work, but that we had the champion in a match. We had the champion in a match against one half of the tag team champions, and this match got left off of an aired tape. Like, I'm willing to bet whatever this should have been on, there was probably a match that didn't need to be there in place of this match. And so I thought it was great to see both of them kind of go back and forth. Yeah, seeing the Coven out there together really bums me out that we don't have the Coven anymore. And I'd love to see Taylor Wilde, again. But yeah, it was kind of a bummer that this match had to end up on a Hidden Gems card, especially when you do have multiple champions involved. I thought it was good. It got a little sloppy at the very end, but it was a good match, and obviously the win that kind of expected. Yeah.
Again, it's crazy now that we're talking about this Hidden Gems match. Taylor Wilde is still out with what seems to be injury, so hopefully she'll come back soon. And it's also crazy that Deonna is now about to be a free agent come January 1st, which is crazy to think of, that this was taped 6 months ago, and she's about to be a free agent. I'm like, I am interested to see what happens next. I thought this was a fun match, and of course, Deonna winning, no surprise there. This was right before her and Trinity went at it at their awesome Slammiversary match. That match rolled. It was so good. Okay, so then I just want to take a moment, because I may have cried a little bit. So in our main event for this Hidden Gems episode, this was Josh Alexander versus my boy, our boy, Yuya Uemura, in his farewell match. And honestly, this is also the match where I looked at I paused, I looked at my TV, I prevented myself from throwing things at my television, and I just instead yelled, why was this not on television? Especially if this was Yuya's last match. This was his farewell match. The trauma was reawakened in me. I cried when I saw Yuya again. I'm like, damn, this match ruled.
It was so good. It was so good. This was my match of the night. Like, Yeah, I agree. I ranked this was almost a flawless match for me. Yeah, my first reaction seeing Yuya was Joya. I'm still so bummed. I get it for the outside of storyline context, but inside, oh man, breaks my heart. It was so good. And the fact that they knew that they had this because they got to wrestle. Joya got to wrestle against the tag team champions for a chance to keep him there, even though we know that wasn't going to be able to happen. And he got this farewell match against Alexander, which, yes, should have been aired on TV. This was a classic wrestling match. Like, I saw flashes from Yuya that were like Tito Santana, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, like, you know, he just brought in that kind of, you know, he's a bit smaller than Josh Alexander. And so it was this, you know, just this great back and forth, but it didn't have a lot of the big spot type spots that we get in modern wrestling, but it still had big moments in it that were just so classic. And the two of them against each other was phenomenal. I mean, Josh Alexander was slapping Yuya so hard that the first time I thought something happened, like he hit two different things, because his chops were so hard you could hear the echo. So he would chop, you would hear the slap, and then you would hear another slap again. And I was like, it took me 3 times to realize, oh my God, that's his echo. That's the echo of the slap through the arena. I mean, it was so crazy, and the finish was so rough in a good way that just, you know, just all of a sudden, just action, boom, done. So good. Such a bummer. I hope that just like with Okada and some of these other competitors that we're getting for these like special moments, I hope we get to see Yuya back for one of those, especially if they can time it out with him getting back with Joe Hendry even for one night would make me so happy. Even though it had to come out on a Hidden Gems match, I'm happy that we got to see Yuya's farewell match, because it was a phenomenal match, and it was a match that he deserved to have as a farewell match. And obviously Josh Alexander was there for all of it too. Like, not to take anything away from him, just talking about Yuya, the two of them did a great job. It was amazing wrestling between both of them. It was a phenomenal show.
Oh, absolutely. This was, again, between this and then the Knockouts tag team match that we saw earlier. This was really hard, but I do agree with you. I think this was my match of the night as well, for all the reasons that you said. And my little heart was crying because I was like, oh, Yuya. Let me put it in perspective, because I didn't even say this match happened in Memphis in September. So it was not that long ago, and it's felt like a lifetime.
Oh, God.
I know, I was just like, but man, I will say the finishing sequence, again, Josh Alexander continues to blow my mind with just like how he puts his moves together. But the ripcord forearm into a C4 spike, it was just like, is there nothing that Josh can't do? Like, seriously, this man is out here. Literally, he is the walking weapon, because no matter what you come at Josh Alexander with, he has an answer for a lot of them. Josh is so great. But again, I love that Josh was able to have this moment and create this final moment for Yuya, as well as his, you know, not residency, but his like journey being sent over here on excursion from Japan. I think this was a really fun way. And again, even if it's one night only, I'm still holding on hope that we get a reunion of Yuya and Joe Hendry, and we get a one night only Joya performance.
Hell yeah.
This was the perfect match to end this Hidden Gems episode, which then now we just need to do is review it and give our final ratings. I really thoroughly enjoyed myself this episode, and I'm gonna keep saying this because I said that last week when we took a trip down to Mexico. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thoroughly enjoyed 5 out of the 6 matches I thoroughly enjoyed. We all know that the Tommy Dreamer one was not my favorite, and it was kind of the stinker of the bunch. But if I had to give this rating at a scale of 10, I'm going to give this like a 7.8, close to an 8. I think this was a really, really fun one. And the only reason that it got points deducted off is the Tommy Dreamer one obviously was the stinker, so we lost some points from that. Impact also lost some points this week because of the fact of, why weren't these on the regular TV episodes? Seriously. I was like, how dare you save some of your good stuff for this? You were holding out on us. How dare you? But I'm gonna land on a 7.9. I really enjoyed myself.
Nice. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed this card a lot. I think picking some really exciting matches, putting them on really just match after match style, while throwing in just enough to keep building up for, the next two big cards with Hard to Kill and Snake Eyes, I think is a smart way to do it. Because if you're going to give us a bunch of previously recorded matches, at least giving us some build to what to look forward to with the upcoming cards is a smart way to go. I do hope once we get through December and get into the new year that we at least get some new stuff from Impact going into TNA, because I think there could also be some really good ways for them to build up some nostalgia and some emotional investment in what is going to be a big moment just for TNA becoming the promotion again. So for this, I gave it an 8.1 because it had some points deducted in some interesting spots. One of them definitely was, just having a low point in the card. But yeah, overall, this was a real solid card for me. It had some really fabulous matches. If we do get more of these hidden gem style matches, I hope that it's just we get to see them now. And yeah, hopefully some more fire matches in there for us to see.
I loved it. Well, Andrew, this does bring us to the end of this week's Table for Two plus You review. Or do I want to make this announcement now? You know what? Let's give the world an exclusive. So, as everyone is aware, Impact Wrestling is closing out its year, and come January, it is rebranding itself as TNA, bringing back the old and total non-stop action wrestling that we all know and love. So therefore, just as Impact Wrestling is going to be rebranding itself, we are offering the exclusive sneak peek news here that Table for Two plus You is also going to be going down with a rebrand. So come January, we are no longer going to be known as the Table for Two plus You crew for Impact Wrestling. In order to coincide with the reintroduction rebranding to TNA, we will now be known as the Takedown Troupe, who reviews TNA weekly for all of you lovely guys, gals, and non-binary pals of the internet land. I'm making us a t-shirt, don't care what nobody says. The Takedown Troupe is going to be here. I am so excited I'm excited because it's still going to be the same folks we've come to know and love in Impact Wrestling, but now we are heading into a new chapter for the company with some of the folks we've come to know and love, and with all of the new people that we just got. So if you haven't been following, Trent 7, Kushida, we're about to have Vikingo and Okada and Ospreay at the Snake Eye tapings after Hard to Kill, and who's to say we may not get them popping up. Listen, TNA is out here killing it. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see what the next couple of weeks bring for us. But until then, that does bring us to the end of this review. If you want to check out other wrestling reviews, make sure to subscribe and check out the Bi-Conics Wrestling channel YouTube thing over here, majigger. If you want reviews, we do a lot. You can check out our video-length essay of Ring of Honor, where we basically took our special guest professor John through Ring of Honor, answering questions, making innuendos. It was a great time. Plus, we didn't have the boss tell us that we couldn't go long, so we went long anyways. If you want to get notifications on when these reviews go live, as well as just check us out for the shenanigans we go through, you can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. And of course, you can subscribe to the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast, where all your podcast needs can be found, whatever platform you like. Trust me, we are pimping ourselves out anywhere and everywhere. So we're spreading the wealth. You can find us pretty much everywhere, where we're more unhinged, a little more violent, but we have a great time anyways. Listen, when you get 9 dudes talking about wrestling, things are about to get messy, so it's a good time all in all. But until the next review from myself, Andrew, our